Welcome back, everyone, to the Fantasy Crossover podcast. I am your host, Danny, joined by my co host, Brian. And today we're going to have another fun, interesting mock draft episode. What we're doing this time around is I believe, 14 team. 14 team?
Uh,
Yes.
is it 14? I thought it was 10.
Oh, no, it's my bad. 10.
10, 10, yeah, yeah.
Awkward moment. Awkward moment for me, my bad. We're doing a 10 team auction style salary cap draft on Yahoo uh, this time around. The biggest thing we wanted to see here, guys, was the fact that Yahoo and ESPN kind of rank players differently in terms of just rankings, average spend, projected spend. So we just wanted to kind of see where certain players were going in both leagues and see if there's opportunity to capitalize depending on whatever league you're drafting for specific players. Brian astutely pointed out several players in the last draft that we did. De'Aaron Fox has a pretty wide difference. People like Marcus Smart. So again, we just want to look at those differences. But the draft is about to kick off. Brian, any words?
I'm going to start. I'm the number one nominator, so I'm starting it out with Nikola Jokic. So we're just going to get the ball rolling with the number one player. Obviously, we're coming off of a snake draft
Oh my
on
God.
Yahoo as well. So, we're up to Jokic $52 already. And this one's a little different than our last one because there's a little bit more humans, so less robots, less CPUs. So let's see how it impacts the draft layout compared to our last one.
Yeah, to give you guys some context, in our last draft, it was just us versus the CPU. Right now, it looks like it's mainly two guys as a CPU, just on auto draft. Maybe one guy keeps fluctuating in and out, and then the rest is actual people. So it'll be very interesting to see when you have actual people versus computers drafting. But right now, as you guys can see, Jokic is up to $71. Brian might get him at that price.
It's a bidding war. I'm gonna let him have him at 72 though. That's or 73. I mean, hey, that's my number was 71. I didn't want to spend more than that on Jokic, so I will let these guys battle it out and see if it goes any higher. But it looks like 73 is where Jokic goes. He sets the tone.
What's crazy to me, his ADP or his average spend was like about 69. So really high value.
No, absolutely. And this guy does it all, man. And with Jamal Murray gone for the year, kind of like we mentioned in his player ranking, he's going to be a valuable asset in Denver and to any fantasy team for sure. And next
Man,
we
this one guy, he just ups the value right away. He does not mess around.
You know what
He's
though? I
been
kind of like
pushing
it.
everyone
You
up to like
you set the
60.
tone and you say this is what I think he's worth, and go ahead and beat me. Giannis $67, potentially 68. I mean, it's a lot of money for a guy who shot 68% from the line last year. He does everything, but man, it's concerning. Wow. Kyrie Irving, number three. Very nice. Very nice. Just get him off the board now, right? 25, 26 range. I don't like when people do that because then it limits the amount of money coming off the board early. I want to get the strategy is to get the high number players off early and get other teams to spend as much money as possible. This is going to be a little different because it's 10 team though, Danny. So that also means we need to alter our strategy a little bit because there's less players that are going to be drafted overall compared to a 12 team draft.
Yeah, for sure. So there to me it's kind of you go it depends. You can play with the crowd, right? Like you see, is everyone else going crazy, going all in right away, or do you see everyone kind of holding their value or like their money and you kind of should spend right away? So it definitely is interesting in the like just observing the dynamic of the rest of your competitors.
And this is
Kyrie should be going for like at least 50 in my opinion, though. Remember, he finished like top 15 last year.
That is true. That is true. Wow, $33. I think that's actually a place where I've seen him. I think the vaccine thing has kind of hurt him, but I think that's going to end up ultimately being a great value if he gets the vaccine. I mean, let's be honest, that's what it really boils down to. Wow.
Freddie.
Fred Van Vliet early. This is interesting because this is very different than how we've seen a lot of our auction drafts go. This is usually kind of start at the top and you work your way down. But now we've seen Kyrie Irving nominated third, Fred Van Vliet at four. I'm going to up his bid. I'm going to try to get somebody to spend a little bit more than they'd like to get him.
Yeah, you might be stuck with him. I don't know if
Yeah,
anyone's going to bid higher than you.
yeah, and I'll take him at
That's
30.
not bad value at
Yeah,
all.
it's not. I'm okay with that. 37. I haven't gotten Van Vliet in any draft. I mean, now my strategy really changes towards kind of a punt field goal strategy. So I'm going to be looking at other low field goal percentage guys that can kind of help me out, kind of fit for that
This
trend.
guy's just bumping up the value so much, man. It's crazy.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm going to start looking at some of these lower value guys and where I can find somebody good here. James Harden is next up.
I got him for $58. I thought that was a great
Wow.
deal, in my opinion.
Wow. That is a great deal. I'm a little mad now. It's okay though. It's a long draft, guys. It's a
Yeah.
long draft. Let's
Let's see how much Luca goes for because James Harden was projected to be like his average salary was $61. Luca's average salary is $68.
correct.
So I'm curious to see, like where people kind of ping this guy at. Oh, he's already valued more than Harden. I got to steal. I don't care what anyone says. I got to
Yeah.
steal.
I'm surprised. I honestly didn't I didn't even look at Harden because I thought it would be over 60 and sometimes you guys gotta keep an eye on everything. Let's see.
It's hard. Luka Doncic is at $67 right now.
Insane.
68. I love Luca. I think he has the potential to be the most recognized international player of all time. But like man, like fantasy wise, he just hurts you in a couple categories. There's just no disputing it.
Absolutely. The good thing with Fred Van Vliet is he is multi position. He can play point guard and shooting guard. So I could hypothetically bid heavy on a guy like Trey Young, another guy who's low field goal percentage, just kind of boost up assists, points, and just kind of go that way. I don't love Trey Young's overall game though, especially defensively, but it is something to kind of keep an eye on.
Ooh,
KD, Steph
KD.
KD, Durantula, Captain America, as I like to call him. Let's see. Boy, $59. I,
That's a good deal.
yeah, it is. It is.
I would bid on him if I didn't have Harden.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you. I'm curious to see where Steph goes now. If Steph gets nominated, people have been picking at random here. Very interesting strategies that we've seen so far.
Oh, Freddie's projected to have a 40% field goal
Yeah,
percentage this year. Crazy.
it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Steph is already at 55. Listen, I think that's great value for him.
Agreed. I don't think he's going to go there though. I think he's going to be closer to that 60 range when it's all said and done. We shall see though. 58. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, bro. Like I was about to say.
Yeah. I think that's my comfortable spot at 61. I don't want to go higher than 61 right now. But at the same time, I always like having one of those top tier players. At 62, I'll let this Afsan have him just because he's got only $127 left to spend. He's going to spend half his budget he has remaining on Steph Curry. So I'll live with that. And he basically is all in on Curry and Jokic. I mean, he got the top two players, arguably. So we'll see how his strategy pans out. I will say, I really think I'm going to start altering and being a little bit more aggressive here, just knowing that there's only 10 teams, so less picks, which means you don't want to leave all your money for the very, very end either, because then you'll be left out.
Cade Cunningham.
Nah,
Interesting.
not going that high for Cade Cunningham. That's too early.
Yeah,
$12.
man. I need to save my money. That is one of the current auto drafts, though. So to be
Yeah.
fair, you know what? I'm just gonna go straight in order.
No, right to 50 for Dame.
I knew this guy was gonna do it, so I just beat him to the punch.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Hmm. Kind of looking, I'm like, get Dame for 57. I think if I get Dame for 57, I'm happy. If someone bids him, so be it. Yeah, hey, so be it. There's still guys I think I can get. I like Paul George a lot still too. Cat. There's some guys that are going to be available.
All right, I have Dame and James Harden. I feel good.
Yeah, $58 for Dame, and then you got James Harden as well for 58. So I mean, hey, you still have a little under half your budget. So now you just build around those two guys. And I'm gonna go ahead and nominate.
Yeah, and they're pretty well-rounded players too, which is really nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna nominate Embiid though. See what? Wow, someone just goes right at 50. Sets. It's interesting. He's put everybody at 50 and has. I don't think he's been bidding against it himself. He sets the ball. He sets the market at 50, and then he lets everybody else kind of bid around him.
Yeah, I
Very
don't know why
interesting
he does that.
strategy. Very interesting strategy. And Embiid as well goes for 58.
It's a magic number right now.
Absolutely. Let's see. And
Bradley.
we still have four teams with $200 left. So they are obviously taking it a little more casual here. Let's see. And I don't know if we're going to see anything with Bradley here. I think 50 might be where he goes. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Hey man, look, his average salary is a little bit lower, and in my opinion, he still have guys that are better than Bradley Beal for the season. Carl Anthony Towns, Anthony Davis, Paul George. So even Jason Tatum, I kind of rank above Bradley. So
Agreed.
really interesting that he went for that much.
Agreed. 100%. Let's see. Well, now that Danny has spent half his budget on two players, I can tell him I'm very interested in Carl Anthony Towns here. Very, very interested in Carl
Uh,
Anthony Towns, especially to pair him with a
you know,
guard like Van Vliet. I think
what's your take on Porter Jr. By the way, look, his average salary is $27. I
yeah,
think it's gone down because of the whole vaccine thing, right?
it has. I mean, look, I'm not concerned. He might miss an extended period of time, but I'm thinking 1, 2 weeks in the long scheme of an 82 game season. He's still going to be the number two guy in Denver. I don't anticipate it being a huge factor. I think missing a few games might hurt him, but I'd be surprised. He's already had COVID twice, actually. So I'd be surprised if he got it a third time, honestly. But I mean, we'll see what happens. I think $40 is a good value. I think that's where I've gotten him in a couple of drafts. Just you're banking on
Man,
his potential though.
that's really high though. Like you're spending $40, but there's still better players on the board that you spend not as much money on, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. It does. And now with Sabonis on the board, he had a really good 53% shooting last year. I'm almost thinking, do I bring in Sabonis as a big to kind of offset a guy like Fred Van Vliet? I don't know. Fred Van Vliet's going to take so many shots that it may almost not even be
You
worth
need
it.
a big that takes just as many, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
that is true. So we're looking at both of them. Looking at Sabonis, looking at Towns. Yeah, Sabonis
The
at
bonus one
38.
for $38.
A pretty good
It's
value.
pretty good
Damn, I'm a
value,
little
man.
mad. I actually tried to bid on him last second. I don't think it did let me do it in time. So that was a good pickup at $38 for Sabonis. I'm a little upset. Sabonis is
I
another
agree.
guy I had last year on my roster as well.
Oh, he does everything. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Now you got Jason Tatum on the board here. He's in the 30s. Now he's up to 51. I think they may have set the market there 51, 52. I don't know if it's going to go much higher. But we'll see. A lot of people are high on Tatum this year.
I like Tatum. I like his game. I don't know, man. Like, is it is it messed up for me to say that he's kind of one dimensional and like his scoring?
Yeah, I
Like
mean
that's his biggest fantasy contribution. Like
yeah, I
his
mean
scoring, his free throw percentage.
he gets your rebounds, he'll get you a few other stats, but yeah, realistically speaking, I would agree with you there. He
The
doesn't do
brow,
he
man.
doesn't
The
do much.
brow is valued less than Tatum,
Yeah,
but in my opinion, he does more.
I agree. He fills the more categories. I mean, that to me, that's at the end of the day, that's what you want. I'm
He
sorry.
went for $51. I think that was a pretty good
I'm
deal.
I'm a little surprised here, Dan. Carl Anthony Towns has not been nominated yet. It's got to be coming up soon. It makes me wonder. It makes me a little concerned. All these guys that have $200. Well, it's only down to one guy that really has $200. I think everybody's kind of been saving up to bid on Towns at this point. The one thing Towns has over a guy like Sabonis is the fact that he can hit the three. Honestly, I think
Hmm.
that Sabonis has kind of been a weakness in his game. So I'm gonna I'm gonna see where they're bidding with Towns now that he's been nominated. I'm gonna play by ear. Ugh,
Oh, he's already at
53.
53.
Jesus,
This other guy really wants him, so you might have to outbid him.
I know.
To me, I think like 57 would be my peak value. Like
Yeah, that's
mm,
jeez.
they're basically saying you're saying that Carl Anthony Towns is more valuable than James Harden and Damian Lillard. I
Yeah,
love it.
I mean, again, I don't love it, but I'm building with a certain idea in my head, and I think I needed a dominant big to kind of play with Fred Van Vliet on the roster. It's kind of a play I needed to make there. But
Hey
then now I
man, I
kind of have
get
to
it.
play
I
conservatively,
get it.
And I still have over $100 left, even with that, with Van Vliet
Yeah.
and Towns, and I consider them both top 25 players. So I'm happy all in all with that. See who gets nominated next. Trey Young, the ever controversial Trey Young.
This guy just sets a market right away. Oh my
Oof.
god.
Wow. Somebody screwed themselves by offering 52. Oh, it's the CPU. That makes a ton of sense. I was gonna say they have two hundred
I think
dollars
they're just
left.
getting desperate at this point.
Yeah, they're punting field goal percentage maybe. Let's see if they're following my
Oh
strategy.
my god.
Yeah, I feel a lot better about Towns at 59 knowing Trey Young just went for 52.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's a value compared to that.
Absolutely. Jalen Green. Wow. Jalen Green nominated with quite a few superstars on the board still. Zion, LeBron, Westbrook, Butler, George. Crazy. It's just crazy. I think Yahoo has Donovan Mitchell rated a little bit more accurate than ESPN. I think ESPN had him a little bit higher.
I think so too. They had him like in the 40s, right?
Absolutely. Jalen Green, six
To me, like
dollars.
I'll be honest, man. Like I think ESPN, they're very very high on a lot of players.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
to me, Yahoo kind of balances it out a little bit more realistically, if that makes sense.
No, I get you. PG-13. Let's see. We have four teams over $100, so this is where we start to really see 40. Do I really want to spend that much? Nah, I have a player in mind that I'm gonna go for strategically.
Oh fuck, ugh, so bad.
I know. Oh wow, Paul George
Oh.
46. Yeah. See, I
I
wouldn't.
was I was comfortable with 41, but 45 was like my threshold where I was like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to
No,
put him
I get
anymore.
you. I get
That
you.
guy has $11 now, just for context,
It's
guys.
amazing. It's amazing. And how many? Let me see. Let me look into his team
He has
deal.
Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Anthony
Uh,
Davis, and Paul. That's a stack team.
he's clearly going for the big
That's
market
it.
guys. I see what he's doing. But again, he's left with $11 to fill 10 spots. So that's all his team is. It's those four. And if something happens with Kyrie, AD's been injury prone. You know,
Jokic just went for $47, or not Jokic, Vucevic just went for
Vucevic. Yep.
$47.
So that's an interesting value. I wanted to get a big name guy off the board with all these Jalen Greens and stuff like that being nominated. I'm trying to get these higher wage players off the board here. Still got Jimmy, Westbrook, Zach Levine is up now. His bid's up to $29. Jeez. This has been one of the more aggressive drafts I've been in, though. I'll tell you that, though, Danny.
Oh yeah, I agree.
These guys are bidding a lot.
It's interesting that they have Zach Levine taking such a jump in points.
Yeah, I don't
Like
see
now
it.
that I really think about that.
Maybe if he goes, let me tell you though, my prediction is if Zach Levine goes up in points, his assists are going to suffer. I don't see with all those guys on that team. I just don't
And
see
they're
it.
like, if you see this, they're showing like just progression across the board entirely. Like I don't understand that.
Yeah. So Zach Levine just went for $35. Just want to remind everybody on ESPN's fantasy draft for auction, I got Zach Levine for $20. So, it just goes to show some guys really value certain players. Maybe they're a fan of that specific team, and that's why they're putting so much money into him. But I think Zach, that's a little more than I'd like to spend. But he was a top 20 player last year, so if you're banking on him having a repeat season, even with all those new pieces, 35, I guess, could be considered a good value in that aspect.
Mr. Williamson.
I know Danny's been holding on to that wallet. He sees Butler on the board. He sees Adebayo on the board. He sees LeBron on the board. Those are all guys I know he has his eye on as well. Gobert. So there's definitely going to be one of these guys that I know Danny's going to put a nice bid on. I'm going to do the same as well. Zion is next up to be nominated. He's now at $30. I think that's going to go up. I'm going to get in the Zion Williamson auction wars here.
Hey man, it's fun right now. It's fun up in here
Let's
because you
see.
know what you're getting. You're just getting a guy that like bangs in the paint and just
Correct.
he gets you points and
Points and
rebounds.
rebounds, but I just I don't love again the overall game still with Zion still from a fantasy perspective leaves a little bit to be desired, and he just went for $33. So to give you an idea, but again, LeBron,
Good
Westbrook,
value.
LaMelo Ball is now up. I've gotten LaMelo Ball in the last couple drafts. I really have a high perspective on where he's going to be at, and he did have a pretty lousy field goal percentage last year, and I already have a pretty lousy field goal percentage guy on my roster. So definitely believe I'm going to be in the LaMelo Ball sweepstakes here.
I mean, he's already overvalued in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Danny, I'll be honest, guys. Danny and I disagree very strongly on LaMelo. Danny wants to see another year of consistency from him. I'm perfectly okay with drafting him where he's at because I think Charlotte is very invested in him, and I think he's going to have a great year. Better, obviously, than Danny thinks. So I'm going to grab
I
that.
just I don't know if I would necessarily say Lamelo should be going for more than someone like Zach Levine or Zion Williamson. That's the only point I'm making here. I
Yeah,
think he's going to have a great fantasy year. I just don't think I would bid as much on him.
yeah, and I got him for the same price that I got Van Vliet, $37. So I'm okay with that. And they're both guys that don't have great field goal percentages, but they're pretty well rounded in steals, assists, and points per game as well. So I like what I'm going to get from them. In addition to a guy like having Cat as a big. Let's see. Bam Adebayo is now on the board. He's going in the 30s now. I know. Surprised I haven't. Oh, there's Danny popping in there at the 34. And that market is going to keep going up. He's at 35 now. I know Danny's going to bid there. Let's see. $35. Wow. Let him have him. So your number for Bam Adebayo, is it safe to say, is $34? You're not willing to spend any extra?
No, I have dude, I have $84 right now. I need to even though I want to be aggressive, I need to be smart about where I'm aggressive.
Right. Yeah, I get you, man. So Russell Westbrook of the newly minted Lakers. So Dan, Russell Westbrook had some pretty monstrous numbers last year. He averaged again a triple double, 22, 11, and 11. Is this a
Yes.
is this a good value for him
He
here?
will Yeah, I think he's going to probably be close to those numbers. I think he's going to be like closer to 15, 10, and 10, but I definitely do think he will average close to, if not a triple double again. I think anything below 30, like 35, yeah, it's a steal. So At this point, it's becoming reasonable. I think it's becoming a little bit aggressive at this point, to be quite honest. But yeah, I wouldn't bid this high. He's currently going for $40, $39.
Yeah.
And you know what you're getting with Westbrook? You're getting a little bit of everything, but your field goal percentage is taking a tank, your free throw percentage is taking a tank, and your turnovers are taking a tank. So, just things to keep in mind if you do go the Russell Westbrook route. But literally everything else, he's golden, man.
And to give you some insight, Westbrook was actually the guy when I picked Van Vliet. He was the guy that I was kind of eyeing to pair him. They were both in like the low 40% for field goal percentage. But the one thing that's kind of scared me off, like you mentioned, the turnovers and the free throws. I'm willing to punt field goal percentage. I don't know if I'm willing to take such a hit on two big categories with two players so early on. I just, it kind of scared me off a little bit. And I got LaMelo $4 cheaper than the $41 that Westbrook went at. So that was kind of my logic there. But Westbrook was something I had in mind, considering Van Vliet's field goal percentage was equally pretty garbage. So we'll see how it goes, man. Now Jimmy Butler is on the line. Danny has the highest bid at 35. Is that going to be the? Oh no, it's actually 36, and Danny's going to let him slide again. He just has that fair value for those Miami Heat players. I think that they kind of limit each other's ceilings. Those two with Lowry now, it hurts both of them a little bit.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. Like, even though I want to bid more, I don't know how the team's necessarily going to mesh. And Jimmy does get injured from time to time during the season. And I worry that they're gonna step on each other's toes in terms of fantasy production overall. So that was the main reason why. Also, I just harp back to I have $84 left with two players drafted. Like, I have to fill out my roster with 11 players. So even though I want to be aggressive, I have to be wise with where I spend my money.
Yeah. You have to keep an eye on who's going for what and who's available. It's a lot. And then, kind of what we were touching on earlier, the amount of teams makes a really big difference in your draft strategy here. A 12-team league, I think I could afford to hold off a little longer, but I see in 10-team leagues, it's interesting to see how much, like, you have a guy that has $121, a guy that has $150, and then you have another player that has $11. So there's a wide range of budgets left available, and you just have to draft accordingly. And there's certain guys that you have to be willing to gamble on, and other guys you got to be willing to let go.
By the way, Chris Paul went for $25. That's a pretty good bargain, in my opinion.
That is even with all the concerns with the shortened off season. I mean, he was still a top 25 player last year. So to get a good point guard who can get you assists and steals, low turnovers, that's a good value for him there. Love Chris Paul.
Yeah, man. I think
Was
Chris Boucher, interesting value. Very
15
interesting pick
bucks.
there. Sorry. Who am I? I'll just nominate LeBron. Let's just go in order.
Yeah, let's see what LeBron goes for. I'm curious. I'm willing to bid on LeBron. I think he's one of the most consistent players in basketball. Obviously, his resume speaks for itself. I'm curious to see how much guys are willing to spend on him. And Danny and I are having a little bit of a bidding war. I'm going to let Danny. Honestly, I'm going to kind of let you have him at 28. I just
Oh, I just thought we were gonna drive up the price.
no. Let's see. I'm curious to see these other guys. Like, no one else is really getting involved with King James. It's kind of interesting. Like, he's
Yeah, I just
obviously,
I just wanted to drive up the price a little bit.
yeah, 31. Let's see. You may end up getting stuck with him a little bit more than you're willing to spend. Let's see. 32?
Oh no.
Yeah, I'll go 32. King James, why not? It was between him and Randall, so I'll live with LeBron. There it
Ah.
is. There it is. No, I'll let you spend 33 on him. That's fine. A lot of guys left. Gobert, Randall, Middleton, Rashawn Holmes, guys that I think I could get a better price. As good as LeBron is. And CJ has 121 bucks, so him spending 34 on LeBron is probably a worthy investment.
Yeah, for sure.
For
And I'm
34,
also eyeing some of the big guys more than LeBron and some of the other
agreed.
guys instead.
Agreed.
But look at this, man. There's only two players left with over $100 at this point. One of which has $150 left. Interesting to see his tactics. and then the other has 114 players, $14 left. Who are you
Mhm.
nominating, B?
I'm gonna nominate Shea. I'm gonna nominate Shea. I think.
Interesting young player.
Yep.
We don't really know. We have an idea of where he's probably going to finish, but it's always a concern with OKC and just their plans for him during the year, especially if he gets injured. There's a lot of things that could go wrong with Shea, but we know the potential. We know what he brings to the table on a nightly basis. So
Yep.
it's things to keep an eye out on for.
Yes. I was really hoping I was just going to drive up the price. As much as I like Shea, I don't know if I wanted to go three guards, LaMelo, Fred VanVleet, and Shea. So, but I didn't want him to go at $25 either. So I was like, someone's going to
Yeah,
spend,
I saw that.
yeah, someone's going to spend a little bit more. And now he's up to 28. I'm going to bow out of the sweepstakes there because there's other guys I'm looking at here: DeAndre Ayton, Gobert, Randall. I think they're going to be put up soon.
Yeah, you're looking at bigs too, hey?
Yep, yep. I mean, hey, listen, Danny. There's more than enough to go around. There's more than enough.
No, no, no. I'm just asking. I'm just asking. It's just a question.
Of course.
You were worried about him going for $25. He is up to $31.
Look
Shea
at that.
Gilgeous Alexander
Well,
is
hey,
right
it
now.
making me a little concerned. Sometimes James Harden went at 58. I mean, I would have bid on him if I had known. I thought that number was going to go up, but apparently
Hey
everyone's a
man,
little
I thought you
concerned.
were paying attention.
Hey, everyone's concerned. I was looking at through all the other teams. It's a lot going on here in these drafts when you're recording and you're trying to give analysis and you're trying to get your best roster and figure out what
You know what I
categories
hear
you
right
need.
now? Excuses.
Yeah,
That's all I'm hearing right
a lot of
now.
excuses. So Julius Randle is currently at 18. Now he's at 19. He's obviously going to be in like the 20s. If anything less would be a steal. But
Anything less than the low, like the mid 20s, is a
yeah, I
steal
have
for
him kind of
me.
at a value though. But I know that Danny wasn't going to let him have that for that. I'm not going to overspend for him though. It's if it once it goes up past a certain number, I don't really have intentions on doing it. So we'll see. He's been in the 30 to 35 range in a lot of drafts that I've gone through. So, but he's a big that can pass, do a lot of different things. So definitely someone that I think a
What's your
lot of
ceiling
teams.
with him?
This is the ceiling, $32. Anything more, I think I got to let him go. Unfortunately, I'm just going to focus on
That
other
makes
bigs
sense.
that can do other things. As much as it hurts me, I've yet to get Julius in any draft yet, so it is what it is.
Hey, just make sure it happens when it counts. That's the key.
No, absolutely. So one thing I want to touch on. So in our rankings for players, we had Jimmy Butler, LeBron, and then Randall. So just to give you an insight on the nominations and the values in the auction draft, Jimmy Butler went for 36, LeBron went for 34, Julius Randle went for 33. Well, I think that speaks to we kind of had them right around where I think a lot of other drafters have them as far as like their value for the season long.
This is a guy I definitely want to get in on. Oh, so do you apparently.
Yeah, can never have too many
DeAndre
good
Ayton.
bigs. Because once Aiton's out, it really kind of leads you with Gobert. And I mean, I'll be honest, only thing with Gobert is the free throw percentage. But man, he does everything else really well. Steve, like blocks, points, boards. You just know what you're going to get from a guy like that.
And DeAndre Ayton's a lot more well-rounded than Gobert, but Gobert's just more of a specialist in certain categories.
Correct.
So that's just something to keep in mind. Clint Capella,
Another
interesting
big I
pick.
almost forgot about for that.
I would probably prefer to take Gobert over Capella,
Yeah, absolutely.
because his free throw percentage is better. But at the right price, Capella's definitely it, man. I think Capella, if you can get him for under 20 or under, is a steal, in my opinion.
I agree.
Um, you know what you're getting: high field goal percentage, high blocks, and also just great rebounds across the board. It's just he will kill your free throw percentage, hands down.
Yes, he will. And at this point, I feel pretty comfortable. I've driven up the price on Capella. I don't have a strong interest in getting him. I know he's great on the rebounds, but you know, uh, there's other money I'd rather spend. You got Porzingis, Turner, you have Christian Wood, Rashawn Holmes still out there, Jonas Valanciunas is still out there as well, and the aforementioned Rudy Gobert. So I'm not going to spend too much money on a Clint Capella. If Danny wants him for $20, we let him have it for 20. But it does not look like that's going to happen. CJ with $87 left has put $21 on Capella.
Hey man,
and
I
that's
told you, I just wanted to drive up the price. That's all it
yeah.
was.
Hey, an admirable strategy, man. And at $20, he still would have been, I think, a good value. So I
Yeah,
definitely
I think
understand
he's
logic.
still a great value for him right now.
Yeah,
It's just again, I personally see other centers that I prefer,
yeah,
such as again Rudy Gobert. I prefer Rashawn Holmes personally, so it's a preference thing
yeah.
at the end of the day.
Totally understood.
If Gobert was gone by Capella's time, I would have probably taken Capella instead.
Yep. And the aforementioned Gobert is now it's on the board. He's on the board. And I know that Danny has invested heavily into guards, so I know he's going to need a big. And I mean, I'm just picking him as an example. There's obviously other teams that you can look at and say, hey, I know they want to spend a lot of money on a guy like this. But generally speaking, you want to drive up the price on a guy like this because you don't want to let a strong team become stronger sometimes by having him either.
CJ's about to have the like great big team. Not gonna let that happen.
Let's see if anyone outbids Danny. Danny put 29 on
I have
Gobert.
I have a feeling, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna let Danny have Gobert for $29. If he wants Gobert, he wants his big. He's gonna have to fork over the extra $2. And if not, then I will
All right,
keep
all
Gobert.
right.
I mean, honestly, I'm okay with that. At 32, I still think he's a good pick. This is the beauty of me not
Uh,
investing more than $60 into any one player because it gave me flexibility, and I was able to add Carl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. I'm set when it comes to rebounds and blocks, and a great field goal percentage from both of them as well.
yeah. Now I gotta re-strategize
Yeah,
here.
you do. You do. But I know
I
you're going
gotta
to settle
pivot a
for a
little bit.
Miles Turner or a Robert Williams, someone of that light.
Hey man, you don't know where my brain's at right now.
Yeah. Let's see. Chris Middleton.
You are down to $35 for 9 players, though.
Yeah, I am. I'm okay with that. There's a lot of guys that can be had for $1 that you wouldn't think,
And hey, I'll make sure to drive up those prices every day.
of course.
Just because he spited me on Rudy Gobert there.
Of course.
Hey, you're high on Chris Middleton too. I like it. I like it.
Um,
You're gonna get him for $23.
yep. Very top heavy team
And
this
just
time
like
around.
that, guys, Brian has 18 like
Seven.
8 positions left with
Yep.
$12.
Yes. And I'm very okay with that because I have Fred Van Vliet, LaMelo Ball, Chris Middleton, Carl Anthony Towns, and Rudy Gobert. All very solid in their respective categories. They're going to give me well rounded games, all of them.
And now, guys, you get to watch a pro do a fantasy draft where he still has over $80 left. He has to fill out his roster across the board. So just again, picking the pieces I want to get. Wow, Donovan Mitchell went for $16. What the heck?
I guess the pro was not was too busy gloating to pay attention to the big board here. Such a shame.
It's okay.
Such a shame.
Why didn't? Oh, you couldn't bid on.
Oh
I
yeah,
was like,
I'm
why
okay with
couldn't you?
that.
Why didn't you bid on him?
I'm very okay with that. Like, I feel like I'm happy with who I got and where I got him. Chris Middleton, just for you guys that don't know, I had Chris Middleton last year. He was very, very clutch. He just does a lot. I mean, there's really no way around it. 6 boards, 5.5 assists, 1 steal a game, 90% from the line. One of the only guys to come close to a 50-40-90 season. You can't go wrong with a guy like that.
Donovan Mitchell went for less than Jalen Brown. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah,
like okay, I'm sorry, it's not just on me, it's literally on the rest of this draft. How did this happen?
yeah. Yeah, this is going to be interesting now. Got a lot of players left here in this territory, so let's see where everybody's heads at.
Oh my god. Okay, Jalen Brown went for $27. What a crazy
Wow,
time to be
wow,
alive,
wow,
bro.
wow. Who got Jalen Brown at what price? Oh, because he had this guy who got Jalen Brown for that price had basically
He's the one
saved
that got
everything.
Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, he got Donovan Mitchell. He had Jalen Brown, Bradley Beal, and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I hate that roster setup as of now. Unless he thinks he's going to get a lot of bigs at good values, I think it's a little too guard heavy to start out. I always like to have a nice mix.
All right, Colin Sexton. I'm not crazy about Sexton. He can have him for $10, honestly.
Well, it's going to be a little bit more than that.
The CPU is just screwing itself over there.
Absolutely.
This guy, to me, Sexton's not the guard from the cows that you want. You want Darius Garland. You
Facts.
don't want Colin Sexton.
I agree. I wouldn't
All
say I
right, you know
wouldn't,
what?
but in the right position.
Okay, sorry. If you have preference, like my preference is him. It is Colin Sexton.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what, guys? Time to go big, or not Colin Sexton. Darius Garland.
Rashawn Holmes is
I
on
know
the
you
board.
can't drive up the. I know you
Well,
can't drive up the price.
hey, I did what I could. I mean, I knew he was going to go for more, but if you show a little interest, otherwise people will start to get like, oh man, somebody's bidding on Rashawn Holmes. Somebody wants him. $14. Nope. Danny says 15. He is willing to
No,
pay
no, no.
15.
I just I need a big. I need a big, bro. Like it's just one of
No, I
those
get it.
things.
I get it. But Devin's going to make you pay a little bit more for that big.
It's okay. Look, if I get him for $17, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
If he goes for more, I gotta walk away. It's
As
just
you guys,
sometimes that's the name of the game.
there you go. Let's see. Oh, I wanted, yeah, there you go, Devin. There you go.
Wow.
$18.
Why do you cheer against me? Like that's kind of messed up, man.
I cheer for entertainment, Danny. I cheer for entertainment, and I knew.
That's a
And look at
little bit
that, and
messed
he did.
up.
And Danny was so disciplined that he knows he needs a big, and he had a top 40 big just sitting right there, top 40 player, and he let him walk for it because he didn't want to spend an extra $2, even though he's got 84 left. And you know what? Now he's gonna have to settle. Now he's gonna get a Porzingis, a Turner, kind of injury-prone guys, Christian Wood. With Rashawn Holmes, he's a reliable player. He's a reliable guy.
Turner's not injury prone. He had one season where he played under like 80% of the games.
Hey,
I'm good, brother. I'm
let's see.
good.
Okay. I hope
Why
somebody.
is Christian Wood valued for more than this other guy? I'm curious.
Who?
Why is he valued more than Rashawn Holmes?
That's a great question. I'm not sure. With that field goal, that free throw percentage of 63%, I had him last year. Christian Wood. Oof. That one hurts. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, and then again, I can't talk. I have Rudy Gobert who had 62% last year, so it is what it is. You take your lumps. Toby Harris. Nope.
Okay,
Danny's
okay. I
holding
like
out for a
Toby.
big
I like
here.
Toby.
He's meanwhile I'm here with Carl Anthony Towns and Gobert, and Dan has.
Hey man, you're chilling. You're just
I
chilling right
am.
now.
I'm very good, and I know what player I'm getting next, so I'm very comfortable with that.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
It's gonna be later. I mean, I'm not. It's not gonna be anytime soon, but I'm okay with that. I planned
All
on being a
right.
little top heavy.
All right. All right. So Toby's about to go for $20. I'm cool with that. I knew this guy really wanted him, so I'll let him drive up the price a little bit.
Hmm. Let's see. Let's see.
I'm trying to get Drew Holiday right now, if I'm being honest.
That's
I
fair.
really want a combination of Drew Holiday and Miles Turner. That way I can, because I have two really guard or offensive oriented guards. I
Yeah.
need Drew Holiday to like reel in with the steals and blocks. Miles Turner be the anchor. Again, I'm playing this really methodically.
Yeah. Sound
I'm
logic.
trying to let everyone spend their money.
Sound logic, man. Sound logic.
Devin Booker went for $7. What the
Jeez, that's
is going
that's
on?
that's unfortunate. See, I would not have let that happen had I had the money to spend. So that's why sometimes
Oh my god,
it is what it is. My
this
draft, I'll be very
everyone
honest, took a
feels.
very different turn once Fred Van Vliet was brought in. So it's not someone I was expecting to drive up the price, but now in hindsight, 37 might have been probably around the peak of his value. So I guess the goal when you're driving up the prices, you don't want to drive up too close to their actual value. You want to bring it up kind of in the middle of where their value's at and make it seem like you're really interested, and
I
then pull
I
away
just
last second.
I'm so shocked that Devin Booker went for
Yeah,
$7.
hey man. I mean, could have been yours.
Oh
You would have
my
had three. You
god,
would have had three offensive heavy guys. You would have had Dame, Harden, and Booker. And now DeMar DeRozan just went for 7 as well.
this is crazy. Oh my god,
So for
that's
reference, guys,
wild, bro.
for those of you on audio, Danny has the most money left uh, by about $20, $15, $20 over the other team. So hey, again, on a 10-team league, let's see how that strategy pans out for him.
Hey man, I'm just trying to get the guys I want. That's simple.
Yeah, I can't blame you.
Lonzo Ball, his field goal percentage is just so bad for a guard, man.
And just a quick fun fact, Danny and I had very strong discussions on whether to place Lonzo or LaMelo higher. Danny, do you take that back, your stance on Lonzo being ranked higher than LaMelo going into this year?
Honestly, no. Again, okay, I want to clear the air here,
Please
guys.
clear the
It's
air because
nothing
you're a stubborn
against
individual.
Lamelo Ball. It's nothing
Nothing
against
against
Lamelo
it.
Ball. It's
Right.
just it's always been my preference where I like to see, because I relate this. It's not the same at all, but I relate this a lot back to like a football argument where you have a guy that comes into the league and they have an amazing first year, but then they have, it's called the sophomore slump. They have a second year that's a lot harder because again, teams have had a full year and a full off season to look, analyze that player's games and like pick apart their weaknesses. I'm not saying that's going to happen to LaMelo. I just like to see that additional year of consistency before I start, ranking players above other players that have been doing it more consistently. It's like when Luca came in, he like, showed up in his first year, and I was like, whoa, like some people were already calling him like a top 10 player. I was like, I need to see a little bit more. Like it's nothing against him as a player or like anything that he does. It's just I personally have a belief that I need to see slight consistency. That's all.
So that's Danny's belief. My belief is Lonzo Ball is going into a situation where he's going to be probably the fourth option in Chicago, and I think that's going to affect his numbers enough to the point where LaMelo is going to be either option one or option 1A in Charlotte, and that was pretty much my whole value. And I think it's been pretty consistent in just about every draft. LaMelo has been drafted way ahead of Lonzo, and I think that Danny will see at the end of the year that you got to have a little bit more faith in the rookie sometimes. Sometimes for
Hey,
me, it's a gut feeling. It's the eye test. I think Lamelo is going to fill the stat sheets more than Lonzo ever did. That's just where we stand. We disagree, but I that's one of the guys that at the end of the season I can't wait
if
to look back and see who was right and who was wrong.
if Lonzo over indexes on assists and steals compared to Lamelo, then who knows? Again, it's just about that position itself.
Thing is, Lamelo is not. For those of you that have watched him, Lamelo, as much as we want him to be, he's not a true facilitating point guard. He's kind of like a floor spacing, kind of like a slasher. It's a different type of breed. It's not a usual, main lead point guard like you would expect. So that's just where I stand. But again, I'm very curious to see how the season ends, so we can kind of look back and see, who was right and who was wrong.
Yeah, and like I want to put it out there, like I will never admit that I might not be wrong. Like it could very well happen. It's just that's always been my approach to like analytics and the game. It's just I like to have more data. I like to see more numbers before I can kind of jump to these conclusions. That's it. Like that's all it comes down to.
Gives you guys a little insight of how we made our list and kind of figuring out, okay, we're going to compromise on this, etc. Because a lot of
Oh
people
my
had Lamelo
god.
in the 30s, and
Why
this
are
is
so
great,
many
guys.
people bidding on this guy?
Yeah. So to give a quick recap, I know we got sidetracked. DeMar DeRozan went for $7. Lonzo Ball, the infamous Lonzo Ball, went for $14. Brandon Ingram went for 16, and now Miles Turner. Danny was forced to overpay for Miles Turner and pay $23. He was
Eh,
ranked as high
I
as he
don't know
was
if
last year
I
because
don't know I don't know if forced because
he
his
was
projected
forced
salary
because
was
I could see your
25. His average was 24.
I could
I
see
was just
your
shocked that
face.
people were holding out on him.
You thought you were going to get it for 20, and then your face soured a little bit when it went to 21, then 22, then 23, and then you were forced at 23 to keep him because you have no other bigs. You have no choice. I mean, I get it. It is what it is. You have to understand the strategy, guys. When you do play it a little bit more conservative, while you do have more money, you are by having only two players in James Harden and Damian Lillard. Danny was kind of forced to get a big at a premium because other guys I think may have noticed, like, hey, this guy only has two offensive heavy guards. He's going to need a center. Maybe if they didn't necessarily want Miles Turner that badly. And then now Drew Holiday's off the board at 20. Would you? So again, Danny, and that using that logic, if you had gotten Miles Turner for 20 or 19 instead of 23, that would have left you with more money to bid maybe a little bit more on a Drew Holiday, who's someone that you mentioned you wanted. Is that not correct?
Yeah, but then I see OG Anunoby still available, Robert Williams still available, so
Okay,
DeJounte Murray, who's a defense oriented guard, is still available. So again,
absolutely.
I see the options. There's still a lot for me to pick from. I like being in a position where I can just determine ultimately my destiny. I mean, like a lot of, I'd say more than half of this league at this point is stuck with what they're gonna do.
That is true. That is true. So let's see. Let's see how it pans out. And this is also the beauty of
Mm.
being a mock draft because I'm not necessarily going to draft this way once the real league
No,
starts.
I know you're
Yes.
talking a big game, but I know you're very conservative as well. So let's like I want to make that very clear for the fans out there. Brian is also very conservative, because
You
for
gotta give the people what they want Lamelo Ball,
wow, Robert
Middleton.
Williams is about to go for $21. I don't regret
Woo!
my Miles Turner decision.
Look at that! Look at that! Just paid a couple more dollars. Hey, bigs are at a premium, guys. You got to remember that bigs are definitely going to be at a premium. It's just there's not that
Dude,
many
and
good
like
ones.
Robert Williams, he's great. It's a Robert Williams is arguably the most speculation this year than any other player, just
You-
based off of his big contract and like everything else going on around him. But we have, again, we have analytics, we have data to support the fact that he doesn't gather a lot of playing time. He's just
yeah,
he has foul trouble. So it'll be very interesting. People are drafting him very high. Is that going to hold steady? Like, it remains to be
yeah.
seen.
The minutes per game with Robert Williams is what scares me, man. It's hard to invest that much salary cap or even that high of a pick. I know he's when he plays, he's obviously produces, but it's again the availability is the best ability sometimes. So and then John
100%,
Collins, I
man.
wanted to throw him up to see how Danny would react, and $13. I mean, I think that's fair. And
Oh no,
someone's
I'm trying to get this Chen guy to bid up on him because I saw that he was in a little bidding war. So I'm
hmm
just trying to get him to like bid a little bit of his money.
yeah. What are you comfortable with on John Collins? 15-year max.
This is it. Yeah,
This
this
is
is
it.
it.
Okay,
So
so let's
I
see.
hope he overspends. Maybe I get bit. Okay, I got bit in the
Yeah,
butt. I still John Collins for $15. I'll take it. It's not terrible.
there you go. Lucky Danny, that James Harden pick, I think, is the savior right now, just because of what he
Oh
contributes in so
my
many
god.
categories. I mean, if you take
If
James
only you
Harden,
had been paying attention.
no, I'm just letting you know, James Harden is actually averaging 7.9 rebounds a game last year. He actually has the most rebounds per game of any player on Danny's team, and Danny has Miles Turner and John Collins. I'm just saying. The
Oh
rebounds is
yeah.
not going to be your strength as of right now. There's obviously ways you still have plenty of time to make up for that, but thus far, it's a weakness.
Hey man, all I know is that I'm going to win in threes and assists.
Let's see. Let's see. It's a long draft.
It's a
Huh.
long draft, he
It
says.
is. And now Danny's waiting to see how the market is for OG Ananobi. He is currently at $10. Wouldn't surprise me to see Danny chip in here once he thinks that people have kind of maxed out their spending because he does have 46. But just be aware that there is still a couple of teams out there that have more money than he does. So he's not necessarily
Yeah,
even in
there's
the
two
best
guys.
position either. Yep. You have a player with $68 left and a player with $66 left. And they have the same amount of players as Danny. And OG Ananobi went for $13. That's a good value, man. It's a really good value.
You definitely see at this point like who's spent how much money where, and yeah, like essentially how much money is left for what player and at what value.
Absolutely.
I don't understand how they have Jonas Valanciunas having a better year than last year with the Pelicans. I think that's completely asinine, bro.
Yeah. I don't see it either. I mean, he's actually I would argue he's going to hurt Zion. That's another reason why I'm a little
Yeah,
worried about getting a guy
100%.
like Zion. The rebounds. That's one of Zion's biggest contributing categories.
And Steven Adams, like he was great for the role he was playing, but like I just don't see with JV in that role, Zion and JV like having as good of a fantasy relationship as Zion and Steven Adams did.
Agreed. So Jonas Valanciunas went for 11. We're down to just a couple of teams with more than $13 to spend. So my
More than
strategy is
$13.
once those teams spend that money, which is going to happen within the next, I'd say 5 to 6 picks, then I can start to kind of look back and say, okay, now where can I add? What are some categories I need to focus on, and then go from there. Ben Simmons nominated for
Great strategy,
six
Brian.
dollars. Oof. Someone could buy very low on Ben Simmons, and if he pans out this year, finally, that's a hell of a steal.
John Morant for $1.
Yeah, I'm good on John Morant.
You know what? I would spend up to like $10 on John Morant.
We'll do it, Danny. You have an opportunity.
Oh, Brian, thank you so much. I really appreciate these words of encouragement. I might as well. You know what? You're right.
There it
I'll spend
is.
$5 on John
Nice.
Morant.
Nice.
Let's go, guys. five
Nice.
dollars on John Morant.
Another
Up,
offensive heavy
up.
guard. You're not spending more than five. You said you go up to 10, Danny.
No, well, I want this guy to have him so he doesn't have any more money left.
Oh, man.
AWP.
7 from CJ. Go ahead, CJ. Spend that money. Only has $66 left. I need him to spend a little bit more here.
Dude, John Morant's going for $22. I prefer Tyrese Halliburton's contribution to the game at
Yeah.
$13, or Dejounte Murray's contribution to the game at $16. Like,
No, no. I
it's
get
just
it.
it's a preference thing, man. Like, it really is.
I get it. Totally makes sense. And now DeJounte Murray this late in the game is gonna be a great value for whoever gets him.
Dejounte, like the mustard.
Absolutely. Hmm. That's a good player to like.
Buddy, you thought you had him. You thought you had him, Mister Yachan. I know you're gonna
I
bid.
love a
Oh
nice bidding war. I love a nice bidding
no,
war.
you know what it is? I hate these guys. They keep logging off, and then the auto draft like just bumps up the price. Yeah, like it's just the auto draft at this point. You see that?
You gonna put 12 on him? I mean, I think that's a good value.
Let's see. I'm waiting for the auto draft to stop like raising the bid.
Let's see.
That guy was not going to bid until that the auto draft made him. That's unfortunate.
Oh
You
man.
see that? It's the
Oh
auto draft.
yeah, but now that's putting you in a little bit of a pickle here, Dan. 'Cause now you're gonna have to spend more than you thought you were gonna get. You thought you were gonna be able to pick him for whatever you wanted.
I mean, I'm shocked that John Morant went for 7 and Dejounte Murray is going for 18.
I'm not surprised
This
by that.
guy, I don't know if this guy realizes that he's basically bidding against a computer, and that's why it's so high.
Probably not.
I don't think he
41.
did.
Oof. All I know is that's another valuable player off the board for you, Dan.
All right, here we go.
This is the guy. This is the guy Danny wanted. Yep, Halliburton.
Uh,
He's the backup to Murray because he wanted Murray originally.
it's just this auto draft computer has so much money left.
Uh,
I need him to just spend it all.
yeah.
It's gonna really screw me. I just realized that.
Told you guys it's a long draft, guys. It's a very long draft.
It's really gonna screw me, isn't
The
it?
reality of the situation is if every team spends all their money, then it doesn't really matter how early you spend yours. I mean, at the end of the day, if everyone's left with about a couple dollars to spend, you can still get most of the guys you want to fill out your lineup.
You know what? You're
Let's
right, Brian. I like your logic.
let's see, because now Halliburton's going for 14, 15. Oh, it's going to cut about half of Danny's budget right there on one player, and he's going to let him slide. $15. Who do you have your eye on now, Danny? Murray's
I'm not
off
gonna
the
tell
board.
you. You're starting to bother me. You're
Oh
being mean.
God. I'm just calling it like I see it here. That's all. Let's see here. The way I see it, I got 5 top 40 players: Van Vliet, Ball, Middleton, Towns, Gobert. I'm okay with it
I
being
have
in the
4
top
top
50.
40 players.
Yep. Yep.
It's okay.
Yep. But the amount of top 50 players is not what it was about 10 minutes ago, unfortunately.
So at the end of the day, what you're saying is you and I are both in a pickle.
Not necessarily. I mean, I would like to have more money than I have now because there's a couple guys I'd like here, but I mean, to be honest, Terry Rozier, Nurkic, McCollum, I haven't drafted any of these guys in any of the drafts, so I'm okay with spending a little bit more on a guy like Middleton, who I know what I'm gonna get from him.
So I just to keep everyone in the loop, someone drafted John Moran at $7. Dejounte Murray went for 18. Halliburton went for 15. I just picked up Jaren Jackson Jr. for 7. Now Anthony Edwards is being nominated, and he's currently at $2.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Let's see, indeed.
Again, Anthony Edwards, controversial player as far as fantasy, where he's going to end up. I think he's going to score more than 20 points a game. So if you need scoring, he's a good player to add to your roster. I'm worried about the contributions and everything outside of points and threes. I'm also worried about his field goal percentage. But again, you're looking at the guy who drafted Fred Van Vliet, so it's kind of where I'm at. De'Aaron Fox again. ESPN, he was going for 50. Yahoo, he's at $5. I mean, I think he's probably closer to 50 than five. I would have loved to have had an extra couple dollars because Danny's gonna. I hope Yetchin bids outbids you for him. Yeah, there you go,
He's
Yetchin.
gonna drive up the bid a little bit. But
Good.
again, Brian, to Brian's point, he was going for $50 in ESPN. He's average salary at $21 here. So that's a huge gap in players. Now I think that De'Aaron Fox is probably gonna be top, top 75 for sure, maybe top 60. But he was going in the first two rounds, man. Like that just that's crazy to me. The contrast in value in ESPN versus Yahoo there. And just like that, your boy got De'Aaron Fox
Nice. Nice.
at $12. Oh, I heard a little bell. I
Why
heard
not?
a ding. What's up, Brian? Are you not? Oh, you can't bid anymore, can you? Oh man.
Danny, can you
So
hear me?
Jamal Murray's up for nomination right now. Brian, you muted yourself. I just wanted to know
Danny, can
that.
you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. Yeah, now I can. Okay. So Brian is having technical difficulty, guys. I can hear him, but I don't think he can hear me. Yeah, we'll see if he figures it out. I think he accidentally turned on the sound for the draft, and it might have just messed around with his overall speakers. He's working on it right now. If anyone's watching on the camera, it's kind of funny as he works these things out. So, just for context, De'Aaron Fox went at $12. Jamal Murray went at 4. Timetable still to be determined. Next up, we have Malcolm Brogdon. He's currently going for $4. Uh, great value. I'm gonna get in on this. Let's see. Come on, man. Brian, I can hear you. I can hear you. Alrighty.
Danny, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right. I'm kind of guard heavy the more and more I look at it. Right now, I have James Harden, Damian Lillard, and De'Aaron Fox. I did want Malcolm Brogdon, but I do want this guy to spend more money. I think that's my main focus. So I'm kind of glad that he's spending his money there, personally. Yeah, sorry guys. Brian and I are just having this conversation. Again, apologies for the technical difficulties. Just these things happen. Wow. So Mikal Bridges is going for $14. I like him as a player. I think he's great, but unfortunately, like I just don't think I'd spend this much money late in the game. Yeah, $12 for Mikal Bridges, crazy. So Mikal Bridges is up to $14 right now, guys. This is insane. Just considering some of the value picks that we've had up until now. We have Devin Booker, DeMar DeRozan going for $7, Jaren Jackson Jr. going for $7. Now Mikal Bridges at 15. I think this Yetchen player just is getting a little bit desperate to spend some of his cash flow because he has $45 left. So it's kind of crazy. Next up, we have Mitchell Robinson. I am not touching this with a 10-foot pole. CJ is going to get him for $13. GG's. This guy was smart for nominating him. I think something that's happened here too, guys. You might not be able to see it, especially for our audio listeners. A lot of guys, since they're already running on the low end of their capital, like they don't have any more money, they've gone on auto draft. So what does that happen? What does that mean? That if they have more money left than what they have to spend, the computer is just going to drive up the bids on a lot of players. That happened to me a little bit earlier, so it kind of screwed me over. But thankfully, Uh, Thankfully, it's all said and done. Most of these guys are at at a lower value now. Now we have CJ McCollum. Man, yeah, this is a great player to have, honestly. Oh, bro, there's a lot of players that you're like, man, how is this guy still available? So definitely a lot of that going on. That's why, again, I wanted to get some of those guys. Like, again, I'm not trying to say my strategy was the best, but I know that there's a lot of value still like present and still up for the taking. Yeah, man. Kyle Lowry, Gordon Hayward, Draymond Green, Jeremy Grant, Pascal Siakam still available. Like, there's still value to be had in this draft for sure. Let's see how much Nurkic goes for, honestly. I'm willing to take a flyer on Nurkic for $4 if I get him. Cool. CJ. Okay, you drove up the price a little bit more than I would have liked. How much money do you have left, CJ? All right, CJ, you can have him. You can have him, CJ. It's all good. Oh my God, Brian. When we run the poll again later this week to see who had the better player in the auction drafts, we'll see who comes out victorious once again. Oh, Kyle Lowry's currently Nurkic went for $7. Kyle Lowry's currently on the board for $3. Sorry, correction, he's on the board for $4. Someone just spit on him. And we'll see if Lowry goes for $4. Great value at this point in the game, and he does. Kyle Lowry, $4. Let's get it. Gordon Hayward now on the board for $2. It's crazy, man. Hayward was my last draft pick in the ESPN league, but we all know his value is way beyond that. Yeah, man. I'm still waiting on Draymond Green. This is who I'm gonna go get, honestly. So right now, Draymond is at $3. Brian bid $4 on him. I think this is a maximum amount of money Brian can bid, unfortunately. So it sucks. The inevitable is coming up where I'm going to outbid Brian on Draymond Green. It's just sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. You know, that's just a pill we all have to swallow sometimes. I get a guy that I was keeping my eyes on for a great value, just like that. I'm pretty happy with my centers my bigs that were supposedly not doing great. I'm a pretty happy camper. I can't lie. All right, moving on. I'm gonna nominate a guy that I know a lot of people weren't keeping their eyes on, Pascal Siakam. Let's see what the value is here. Brian's bidding $4 on Pascal. I don't think he wants him. I think Brian's trying to drive up the price for me personally. I think I'm good on bigs, honestly. I really do. Brian got Siakam for $4. Hopefully, maybe that's who he wanted all along. I don't know, but overall, great value at this point in time. All right, Robert Covington for $3. I don't think. I think there's still some players left on the board that I would probably draft over Covington. But I do see, he does get you certain stats that are very valuable in the defensive stats. I just hate the fact that he is listed as a power forward center now when, like, man, his natural position is small forward. That, like, that's so infuriating to see. All right, Terry Rozier. He's going for $5. At this point, really, it's just me and this Yachan guy going at it. He's got $33 left. I think he's gonna overspend on a couple players. Um, but it remains to be seen. Scary Terry went for $4 from Yachan, and it's insane just seeing some of the value left on this board. So late in the draft. It's awesome to see. So Marcus Smart is currently at $30. Marcus Smart, his field goal percentage is just so bad. I don't think I want that in my life. Given, let's see what my team's looking like right now. Yeah, he went for $3. Great value, but yeah, I didn't want to bringing me down even more. All right, next up, Jeremy Grant. I definitely want this guy. Small forward, power forward combination. Yeah, it looks like Jachan's going to try to get him. Unfortunately, he's currently going for $4 for $3. Jeremy Grant, he got that Olympic experience. You know, he is still technically the number one option in Detroit, and he's just a great all around player. He can get you points, rebounds, a solid free throw, and field goal percentage for a big. And he's projected to kind of get back into that defense's category. At this point, it looks like Yachan really wants him as well. So I'm just gonna kind of drive up the value on him. You know, let's make Yachan use his money, bro. Like why does he have so much money left? Oh, he forced my hand. I might be stuck with Jeremy Grant for $10. Oh, he played me. Oh no, he drafted him for $14. Yachan just went crazy there. I did not see that coming. So Yachan and actually, I am now the person left with the most cash in this draft, which is wild to say. Let's see who Afshan nominates in this draft. I can't believe he spent $14. That just shows that was a player he really wanted if he was willing to spend all his money left on him. Derek White, it's insane that this guy's still available to me. Like just the value at this point in the draft for a guy like Derek White, who last year he had some injury concerns, but this guy he's a really good all around player. The only thing that he really hurts you is on like the offense or on the efficiency standpoint, at least from a field goal percentage. But again, hopefully this year he bounces back. The bidding war between Yachan and I is just insane, man. Yachan got him for $4. Cool, Yachan. I don't like you right now. You're like driving the bids up on a lot of players I wanted. um, oh yeah, just at this late in the game, 100%. And the reason why, like, I don't get why Yachan is now trying to get Isaiah Stewart. For me, it was either Isaiah Stewart or Jeremy Grant. Now that he took, Jeremy Grant, I am going to take Isaiah Stewart from him. He cannot say no to me. And just like that, like oh yeah, Chan. I have James Harden as my shooting guard. I have James Harden as my shooting guard. Yo, this shit Chan guy's pissing me off. Nah, man, I'm still golden in my opinion. the one area that like I definitely overlooked was the small forward area. But there's still some great value to be had, honestly, with small forwards. Guys that just for whatever reason aren't on people's radars. I'm gonna take a gamble with Spencer Dinwiddie. Yeah, man. So who are you looking at this point, Brian? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm really happy with how my team's rounding out. Um, at this point in the game. Okay, cool. And again, guys, I can't stress this enough. As long as you finish the draft with between $1 to $10 in your bids, then you had a really it left in your budget. Then you had a really good draft, in my opinion. Thank you, Brian. This is a guy I was looking at. I need more threes. I appreciate you nominating him. Oh yeah, and Darius Garland just went for $2. I wanted to bid on him. I don't know why. Like I didn't notice that. That was kind of weird. Yeah, I really wanted Darius Garland. Who am I kidding? Yeah. Brian, I just want you to know that you are going to get Harrison Barnes for a great value. I don't want him. I have two Kings players already. No, at this point, it's just like you have to hope that no one nominates him. hmm And that's again, like that's why I don't like being put in that position because you really don't control your own destiny at that point. I'm comfortable having $5 left over at the end of the day of my draft, knowing I was able to pick the majority of the players that I find like I ultimately wanted. I love how you were concerned about me being. Yeah, you'll be fine. I love how you. I love how you were concerned at me being at, at me being at me being like guard heavy. Um, but now I'm gonna have so many centers. All right, and just like that, my last pick. I'm kind of punting free throw percentage there, but whatever. I think I got Jared Allen for a great value. Oh, hey, you got Harrison Barnes. Look at that, Bonzi. All right, all good. So Brian's just he's working out on just the communication standpoint, guys. So just to recap, Harrison, I got Jared Allen for a dollar. Harrison Barnes went for a dollar. Evan Mobley went for a dollar. Brooke Lopez went for a dollar. Devontae Graham went for a dollar. Jordan Clarkson went for a dollar. At this point, it's just whoever nominates what player, you're gonna get them. At this point, everyone's pretty much done. I ended the draft with $6. I'm pretty happy. Brian has $5 left to fill out 5 roster spots. Norman Powell just went for a dollar. And again, these are great, great players that everyone spent their money early. So these are great players that should not be going for this much money. Another reason behind that is this is a 10-man league. So, again, people were really high on certain players. And now certain players that should be going later on in the draft or be middle tier players for other teams are just ultimately falling. So Norman Powell went for a dollar. Kyle Anderson went for a dollar. Brian drafted RJ Barrett for a dollar. I'm not crazy about the Bear pick, honestly. Wiggins just went for a dollar. I would have preferred someone like Thaddeus Young, Daniel Gafford, maybe even Kelly Olynyk. Like that's someone that no one's looking at. Daniel Gafford just went for a dollar. Brian, if I were you, I'd draft Kelly Olynyk in a heartbeat. Yeah, you should really draft Kelly O. Sadiq Bey just went for a dollar. DeAndre Hunter was someone I was also looking at, but between DeAndre and Jared Allen, I was just a lot more content with having Jared Allen. Andre Drummond just went for a dollar. Thaddeus Young just went for a dollar. Great, great pick. It's interesting to know where his value is going to be at the end of the season, at the start of the season, just because he's been rumored in a lot of trade talks. Dennis Schroeder went for a dollar. You know what you're getting with him: points and assists, and a pretty good free throw percentage. So again, pretty good value. Nikhil Alexander Walker just went for a dollar. It's expected that he takes a big leap. Brian nominated Kelly O for a dollar. Great, great value once again. I definitely think that's a steal in my opinion at this point in the draft. Derek Favors went for a dollar. Weird pick. Brian, I'd probably pick DeAndre Hunter next if I were you. Another great player to round out your team, honestly. Wendell Carter Jr. just went for a dollar. Yeah, guys like Kelly Oubre are still left on the board. Aaron Gordon, Nerlens Noel, man, like that's another great player to have on your roster. Reggie Jackson, obviously. T.J. McConnell, like the list goes on. Steven Adams went for a dollar. John Wall went for a dollar. I'm just waiting for Brian to finish drafting. That way I can jump off because at this point I'm not really contributing, unfortunately. um, Laurie Markkinen just went for a dollar. Jalen Suggs went for a dollar. Let's see who Brian nominates. Uh, Nerlens Noel. Again, great value at this point in the draft. I think Brian's got a pretty solid team. He's definitely going to win in blocks across the board. Ivica Zubac went for a dollar. Someone like Klay Thompson's probably going to be valuable. Keldon Johnson just went for a dollar. And from what I'm seeing, Klay isn't getting drafted in a lot of leagues, so it'll definitely be interesting to like see if Clay goes undrafted in a lot of leagues, just considering the fact that like you know what you're getting with him. It's just a matter of when rather than if, right? DeAndre Hunter just went for $1. Clay finally just went for $1. Let's see who's left to round out their teams. A handful of guys. It looks like maybe four guys are left to round out their teams. Duncan Robinson just went for $1. Let's see who this guy picks. Jay Sean Tate went for $1. Brian nominated TJ McConnell. Again, sleeper picks, guys. Great value, super late in the game. He's definitely getting a great player. Al Horford just went for $1. Again, great pick. Let's see. Chuma Okiki went for $1. Great value. Again, let's see. One, two, three, four guys left to round out their drafts. Kawhi Leonard, $1. Let's see what this guy nominates. Larry Nance for $1. Brian, who are you gonna round out your team with? Maybe a Reggie Jackson, a Kelly Oubre, uh, Aaron Gordon, possibly Mason Plumlee. Oof, good value there, man. And Brian rounded out his team with Joe Harris. Interesting pick. I guess he needed some 3-point shooting. Definitely, you know what you're getting with him at that point. Nick Claxton just went after Joe Harris. Let's see what these last three guys round out their teams with. Joe Ingles. Now let's see what these last. Now it's only two guys. One guy's about to finish up, and then the other guy has 2 picks left. Kelly Oubre, amazing value at $1, in my opinion. Jonathan Isaac going for $1. That's awesome. And then lastly, Bobby Portis went for $1. Yeah, I mean, I think we both walked away pretty content with our teams. It would be interesting if this was actually our lineup, how our teams would fare on a week to week basis. I just think that you got great value at the end with some of those guys. It just goes to show, guys, like in a 10 team draft, you can really get some great value later on in the draft. No, guys, just we're gonna post again. We're gonna post both of these player rankings, both of our rosters up on social media. Give us your thoughts. Give us who won. Your take on who won, who had the better draft overall, and just continue to interact with us across all social platforms. Facebook, or sorry, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit. We're on the Reddit community every once in a while, and even YouTube. We're posting our videos, our drafts, uh, consistently. So just give us your feedback, and just we'd appreciate any additional feedback on how we can improve things you guys would like to see from us, and including themes for episodes and things of that nature. So without further ado, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Take it easy.